You're listening to The Gary Harris Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Academic institution. Click TuscaloosaThread.com throughout the day for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
The Gary Harris Show. UCM host Tider Insider TV. Crimson Tide Kickoff. Play-by-play for Alabama sports and sports director for WVUA 23. It's time for the Gary Harris Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tuscaloosa is buzzing. Not only is it the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show, which I think gives the town a buzz every Friday anyway, but it's an Elite Eight Friday. Alabama is in the Elite Eight for the second time in school history. The first trip came 20 years ago in 2004, so 20 years later, Alabama is back. And we know there's been numerous opportunities to get to the Elite Eight, but only once before had Alabama made it to this point. But last night, they knock off North Carolina 89-87 out in Los Angeles to advance, and now they're one win away from the Final Four, and they'll play Clemson, a team that they've already played and lost to earlier this season, on Saturday evening out at the Crypto.com arena. What a game last night. What a March Madness run it's been for the Crimson Tide, and even though they lost to Clemson, that was, I want to say that was back in November. It was either November or early December. Justin, I'll look up the actual date of the game. But Alabama's a favorite, and I think certainly Alabama's capable of winning the game. And as I said yesterday, if before the tournament started and before the draw came out, if you'd have told Alabama fans that your draw to the Sweet 16 would be Charleston and Grand Canyon, you would have taken it. Now I think, too, if you'd have said nothing against North Carolina, but I've said all week long, I thought they were the weakest of the number one seeds. If you'd have told Alabama fans before the tournament that your run to the Final Four would be Charleston, Grand Canyon, North Carolina, and Clemson, I think Alabama fans would have taken it. You're in the Elite Eight, and you're playing a lower seed. Alabama's the 4 seed, Clemson's the 6 seed. We'll get to Alabama Credit Union in a moment, but Justin, let me pull you in here real quick because this is it is a history-making night when you've only been to the Elite Eight once. Now you got a chance to truly make history by going to the Final Four. But last night I thought Alabama, and I was at work, and I've got, not in addition to let me be clear on this, in addition to Alabama basketball, I'm trying to monitor the softball game, the baseball game, other sports, putting a sports show together. So it's not like I was just dialed in watching every play. Now I got home in time to see the last, 3 or 4 minutes of the game, which is really where the game was won. Those kind of games come down to the final 3 or 4 minutes. But Justin, I thought Alabama, they won the game. So that's all you need to know. They won. So obviously they're a good team, but to be going back and forth in the first half the way they were, and then to see Carolina, you're up 39-34, and then Carolina ends the first half on a 20-7 run, and they make 10 threes in the first, including that kid that tortured him when he was at Notre Dame, was torturing them again. And then to come out of half and really you could see the emphasis on defense, the quick turnaround. They take the lead pretty quickly in the second half. They lead, then North Carolina leads. It's back and forth. But in winning time, which is what these kind of games are all about, in winning time, that final couple minutes, Alabama made the plays and North Carolina didn't. End of story.
You're exactly right. And not just Alabama, but Grant Nelson made the plays that we needed to. Outstanding play from him that we've not really seen except for maybe once or twice all season. It was electric. I'm right there with you, though, Gary. I was here doing softball, so I didn't get the start of the game. I eventually got home and caught the second half. It was back and forth. I think the first half, I love the game plan that they came out with, and Coach Oates said that himself, that they really just needed to work on their rebounding, because they were letting the guys that weren't supposed to make threes take the three, and they were just making them.
And they were making them.
I think 16% was the one shooter's percentage. He'd only made 8 threes through the entire regular season. And then earlier, or like you mentioned, we get a chance to go play Clemson in the Elite Eight, and that was in November when we played.
Okay. Yeah, here's something, too, on what Justin just said. He's grabbing the phone, is that North Carolina, and I don't know that Alabama, lured them into that, but they were leaving those guys open that aren't high percentage 3-point shooters in the first half. North Carolina kind of fell in love with the 3-point shot, and it hurt them in the second half. They're a good 3-point shooting team. They're not the kind of 3-point shooting team they were in the first half, but they kind of seemed to fall in love with that, and it bit them in the second half. I mean, just as hot as they were in the first half, Justin, North Carolina went that cold in the second half. So I was saying while you were catching the phone, I don't know that was on purpose. You're right. Now, it was on purpose to leave that, especially that one kid who hadn't made one in 2 months or whatever, and he started knocking down those threes. But it's almost like Alabama just invited, they gave North Carolina a false sense of security on making those threes. And in the second half, buddy, they locked him down. But you mentioned Grant Nelson. Yesterday morning, what did I say? Listen, you got to show up, buddy. He didn't have a field goal against Grand Canyon. I said, you got to come through. He had a historic performance. First player with 20 points, 10 rebounds plus, 4 blocks plus in a Sweet 16 game or later since Kevin Love in 2008. And the first SEC player with 20 points, 10 or more rebounds and 5 blocks in an NCAA tournament game since Joakim Noah in 2006. Also, to give you more perspective on Grant Nelson, this is what we know he's capable of. But to finally see it do it again, it's just phenomenal. 24 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, 66.6% field goal, 100% from 3. And then at the end of the game, it's only 9/10 of a second. When he had a chance to ice it with 2 free throws, he missed them. But, then not that it would have gone in, but you never know. He blocked the Hail Mary attempt there at the end of the game to get his 5th block.
That half a second there where North Carolina gets the rebound, that may have been the most stressful half a second, but then, like you said, he puts his hand up, he gets the block, and then Alabama moves on.
Well, it's March Madness. You always, until it's over, like I said, I'm home for the last 3 or 4 minutes. I got getting texts from everybody. Are you going to Phoenix, Roll Tide, and all this? And you know how I am. I'm taking back. Got to finish. It's not over, and it wasn't over. I mean, it went really down to the wire. But as I said, in winning time, Alabama made the plays. North Carolina didn't. Alabama moves on. All right, let me tell you real quick about Alabama Credit Union, member-owned and not-for-profit. And we've got a guest coming up from Alabama Credit Union for a couple minutes in the next segment to talk about secret meals for hungry children. But it's a great organization. Go to alabamacu.com to learn more. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Become a member today and find out the advantages for yourself. Alabama Credit Union. Some rules and restrictions do apply. See if you're eligible for membership and join today and feel good about your money. And put a little extra change in your pocket. And another one of our great sponsors, Krispy Kreme. I've been threatening this for 2 or 3 weeks now. We're going to begin our Krispy Kreme donuts for a year and t-shirt giveaway in the second hour. A dozen donuts. It's really neat. They put a month. They give you a card. It's got all 12 months on there. So if you start in April, they'll punch April and it'll go all the way through to next month. You get a dozen every month for a year, plus a beautiful 100% cotton heavy T-shirt from Krispy Kreme. We'll do that in the second hour. All right, we've got to jump out on the first and main. We got a lot of other sports to talk about. We'll get to it, I promise. Let me tell you our guest list. Adam Amin is back from Fox Sports. Then we'll talk basketball with the gunner, Al Dillard from Birmingham, who played at Arkansas. Barry and I were talking about it after the show. He could shoot that thing from anywhere and would. He played in an era where, you see Steph Curry and these guys shooting from 30, 35 feet. When he was playing at Arkansas, it wasn't that common, but he would pull up and he could knock it down. He'll talk basketball with us. Then at 10:30, the Auburn Report with Brett Pritchard. Right now, let's jump out on the First and Main Condominiums hotline and get it started with Tom. Tom, you pretty pumped up this morning?
Gary, I am running on adrenaline. I had to be at work this morning at 6. I was up late. I slept very little, up and exercised it real early and into work, and now I'm off. But it was all adrenaline after the game was over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I kind of felt the same thing. I got, like I said, rushed home to catch the end, and once it was over, then I wanted to watch the ESPN's analysis and all of that stuff, and I had a hard time getting to sleep because it was so exciting.
Really is. A great win or a bad loss. It just makes it where it's hard to sleep. But I called in. I've been thinking about this for a couple of games, and then last night at the end of the game, I was thinking about some of the conversations that's been had on air with different ones, and my take on Grant earlier this week about him being not very good for us, and then he has a game like that. But the main reason I called was, my hat's off to you. You had this team figured out early on, and about their deficiencies and about their assets. And my hat's off to you because that was a great call of your evaluation of this team. So, well done.
Well, thank you, Tom. And, I said this too yesterday. Of course, I picked Alabama in my bracket to go to the Final Four, and they're one win away from making me look pretty smart. But, it's the team last year was so talented. And, again, and Tom, we've talked about it. I don't want to, bring it up and go into detail, but what happened off the court last year, I do think that impacted that team. And then Brandon Miller is not even close to 100% going into the tournament. And he even though they won 2 of those games, he probably played his worst 3-game stretch of the season in the NCAA tournament. And then the Herb Jones team, I always just call it the Herb Jones team. Had a lot of other great players, but that's who the guy I remember for it. I thought that team should have gone to the Final Four. I thought last year's team should have gone to the Final Four. This team, to me, I've said it all year, I don't think this is a Final Four team, but you have Final Four caliber teams that don't make it.
Talent-wise.
And then you have teams that make it to the Final Four maybe that you didn't think were Final Four calibers. So, they got a nice draw. They've taken advantage of it. They won last night without Latrell Wrightsell Jr., which makes you believe, if he plays, maybe they win that game by 8-10 points. Maybe it doesn't come down to the final seconds. But what a win! But they got to be ready Saturday evening now because Clemson came in here, and you and I both know it. They bullied Alabama around. Those 2 big post players they got are a load, and
really.
And they're playing just as well as Alabama is. So you're excited, but you understand to really do something special, you got to win one more game. And it's not going to be easy, but I certainly think Alabama's capable, and it's fun and it's exciting, and to still be playing basketball this late in the season and to take out a team like North Carolina. And I know a lot of the North Carolina fans, I was watching social media, and they weren't, it wasn't nasty or anything like that, but they were talking about Jaron Stevenson, how he should have waited a year and stayed in high school and wouldn't play for a true national championship type program, and he was going to find out why North Carolina is North Carolina. Well, you know what? I guess he's feeling pretty good about going to Alabama this morning.
Well, they were trying to be some of that was for funny humor stuff, but I thought that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was anything nasty about it, but I just think you got to feel, if you're Jaron Stevenson and his family, you got to feel pretty good about your decision to come to Alabama.
Well, if you're North Carolina, you're kind of like Alabama in football.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of like say, hey, look at me, I'm a peacock, and it's a crimson peacock. Deal with it. And they do the same thing. There's a couple of things, and then I'm going to get out of the way. I'm sure others want to express their opinion is, one of the things you've been saying is so fascinating in conversation to me is that there are teams that are talented enough to be Final Four teams, and then there's teams that you just can't explain how they got there. They just got there. You know what I mean? But this team, based on your evaluation, which I believe to be true, was that they had something. They get beat. They got killed at Tennessee, but they came back, after that and played pretty good. And they would get hammered, but they wouldn't.
Always came back. Yep, always came back, Tom.
Always came back. And then there were games that they were playing in. They would get down and they would come back. Mm-hmm. And so I got a grit factor that I put on this team that may not be the most talented. They're talented, but in a different way. But that the grit factor with the talent that they have made them look to be possibly going to the Final Four.
Yeah, 1 win away. Thank you, Tom. Great phone call. It's 9:15. We're going to take our first time out, and at 9:30 we got Adam Amin from Fox Sports. Always look forward to visiting with him. Major League Baseball, NBA, college basketball. We'll discuss it all with Adam. And your phone calls are welcome in the next segment on the First and Main Condos hotline, 205-342-9904. And we'll get into the other sports too, but had to talk nothing but Bama basketball in this first segment. I know there was a scrimmage yesterday. We got Kalen DeBoer, audio. So, we'll have all that for you, but, basketball is the top subject this morning. We'll be right back after this.
This season of Alabama football on Tide 100.9 brought to you by Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Just a few minutes away where you can be a winner too.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Guthrie's. America's original chicken finger restaurant is now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's episode of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we were joined by Alabama baseball pitcher Riley Quick.
I just hope that I can keep everybody positive and just cheer on my team and help out as much as I can in the dugout and just keep these guys positive because we got a really good team. We got a chance to do something special.
You really do. A great start to the season in non-conference play, and then you started SEC play against Tennessee. Got the win, got to smoke a few victory cigars afterwards. I imagine that was a lot of fun for you.
Well, that's for sure. It was a great time doing that.
Can't wait for the Crimson Tide to be back at the Joe coming up this weekend against South Carolina. Just as we let you go, we know you're going to be helping out this team as much as you can, but what do you feel like this group is capable of down the stretch in SEC play?
This group is capable of a lot of things, man. We got to come together, and we will, and we are. We're a very close team, but we just got to put all the pieces together, and I honestly think we can do something really special here.
I'll have more in a moment.
Founded in Haleyville in 1965, Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers has been family-owned and operated in Alabama for over 58 years. Like their famous signature dipping sauce, Guthrie's has been imitated but never duplicated. Using the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe, Guthrie's is still serving the best chicken fingers in the world, just like you like them, fresh, hot, and fast. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant, and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
If you missed yesterday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, catch it on demand on all CTSN social media platforms, as well as interviews.
We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit PattersonComerLawFirm.com.
No representations made that the legal services provided by Patterson Comer is greater than any other legal services performed by any other lawyer.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A big warm up today with a sunny sky. Tuscaloosa's high 73. Fair tonight, the low 57. For the weekend, the warming trend continues. Mostly sunny tomorrow and Sunday. The high tomorrow 78 for Sunday afternoon. The high 81. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 50 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You see him on WVUA 23 covering sports and on Tider Insider TV on Tuesday nights. Don't miss a minute of the Gary Harris Show. Weekdays from 9 to 11 on Tide 100.9.
Yeah, we're so busy in that first segment talking about Bama basketball. Didn't even mention the fact that we got all that great weekend music to get you ready here on the TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show. Elton John, Saturday night's all right for fighting. Again, we don't want you fighting tomorrow night, but if Alabama wins another game, goes to the Final Four, we do want you celebrating. So, welcome back into the program. You know, through our association with Alabama Credit Union, which we're proud to be associated with such a great financial institution, we also have talked from time to time about Secret Meals for Hungry Children, which is just an unbelievable program that Alabama Credit Union spearheads and makes sure that children in Alabama and Northwest Florida can access the nourishment they need over the weekends, because a lot of these young people, they go to school and they get to eat well during the week, but some of them are not in position at home to get the kind of nutrition that they need. Secret Meals for Hungry Children packs meals in their backpacks for the weekend. It's an incredible program. And with school here getting close to winding down, we want to bring on Nicole Fulgham, Community Involvement Coordinator for Alabama Credit Union, to discuss what it's all about. And if you want to get involved and help out this very worthwhile project, we'll tell you how to do it. Good morning, Nicole. How are you?
Good morning, Gary. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And I mentioned a little bit of what it's all about, but just give us, if you don't mind, just some in-depth conversation in regards to Secret Meals for Hungry Children and exactly what it does and what it provides.
Yeah, so we work with school officials such as counselors, teachers, lunchroom staff to help us identify those children who may be going hungry over the weekend. They have certain cues that they look for in their classrooms or in or around the schools, and they communicate with us each week to let us know how many children in their school they have identified. And so Alabama Credit Union works with the West Alabama Food Bank to pack these food packs and to deliver them each week to the schools. And those food packs contain 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 2 snacks to help fill that hunger gap that may be created over that 48-hour window there. And so we couldn't do it without our volunteers and, of course, our donors. We're serving about 1,800 kids a week just here in West Alabama. So it's all hands on deck here during the school year.
Yeah, it's a full-time project, and that's kind of why I wanted to have you on, is so for people to understand it's more than a charity. It's a movement dedicated to ending childhood hunger in Alabama, and there are different ways. Secretmeals.org is the website, secretmeals.org, but people can make a difference, Nicole. Obviously, donating financial support, but you can volunteer. The West Alabama Food Bank is always taking food items. You can, or just share the information on the movement. There's a lot of different ways that people can get involved, right?
Absolutely. You can make monetary donations on our website, like you said, at secretmeals.org. You can come into any Alabama Credit Union branch across the state. We now have about 37 branches. So any of those branches can take donations, but you can always volunteer your time at the West Alabama Food Bank. Like I said, we're packing about 2,000 of these meals a week. And so it's all hands on deck. Like I said, we need as many volunteers as we can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know school is the summer break is coming here shortly, but I still think there's, 6 or 7 weeks of school here left in West Alabama. So there's plenty of time to get involved. And, one more time, before we close it out, Nicole, you just went over it, but I want to make sure people are clear on how they can help.
Yeah, so you can make a donation at secretmeals.org. It costs about $5 per weekend, so not very expensive to feed those children over the weekend. Or you can go to any Alabama Credit Union branch to make that donation. We also have an event coming up at Lake Lurleen on May 11th, which is a Tuscaloosa Kids Triathlon, where children ages 5 to 16 can swim, bike, and run and compete to support those children in their schools that might be facing hunger over the weekend. Yeah,
that's a huge event. May 11th at Lake Lurleen. Make a note of it. Again, secretmeals.org is the website. Please check it out and get involved. It's such a worthwhile project. Thank you so much, Nicole.
All right. Thank you, Gary, and thank you for your continued support.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend. All right, Nicole Fulgham from Alabama Credit Union visiting with us about Secret Meals for hungry children. All right. We got Adam Amin coming up in the next segment. All right, before we get to Adam, and we talked so much about basketball, we're going to be continuing to talk about basketball. Justin, a few other notes from last night, okay? I'm not going to go into full-fledged headlines here, but Alabama wins, Clemson wins, so it'll be the 4 seed and the 6 seed on Saturday evening. Give me I know you've probably got it. I've got it somewhere, but give us the tip time. I think it's TBS on Saturday evening.
Yeah, TBS 7:49.
All right, 7:49 Central Time tomorrow night, which I heard Barry and Justin talking about earlier. Baseball's a day game tomorrow, so there'll be no conflict there. So make note of that. But also last night, Bama baseball pulls one out against South Carolina. Huge win, 4-3, because they're going to play a lot of close games in this league. And we saw against Tennessee, they won a couple of them. At Georgia, they lost a couple of them. Last night, they get that win to win the first game of a 3-game series. They play again this evening. And one note, too, on baseball, you can hear it on Tide109.com. You can hear softball on 97.5, and you can hear basketball on 95.3 The Bear. And Chris Stewart and Brian Paxik always do a great job along with Tom Stipe. All right, baseball wins last night, 4-3 over South Carolina. Softball loses at Kentucky, 6-3. Offense is a problem for this team right now. They were down 6-1. Marley Giles and Emma Broadfoot did hit home runs in the top of the 6th to make it 6-3. And the Tide did have the winning run at the plate in the top of the 7th, but they could not get any more runs. All right, Bama football scrimmage yesterday inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Following the scrimmage, Kalen DeBoer met with the media, and I actually had, because the Digital Media Center, the TV station, is in the stadium. After I did the sports, I was able to get over to the Alabama football media room there in the stadium and attend Coach DeBoer's press conference. Really like his style. We've got his press conference. We'll try to run that. We got, like I said, we're heavy on guests, but Bama football, pardon me, hit my mic there. Bama football scrimmage yesterday, so a big deal. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer later on in the show. Shelton State women's basketball playing at the NJCAA National Tournament, Division I tournament in Casper, Wyoming. We know they've won 200 games in a row in their conference, the Alabama Community College Conference. Unfortunately, once you get to the national tournament, you go up a notch in competition. Shelton State falls to Three Rivers Community College out of Missouri. If you've heard of Three Rivers, it's probably because that's where Latrell Sprewell played. Also, Sean Peck Love played there, the former Alabama player, Central High School player, now the head coach at Bryant High School.
Want to shout out, too, which you may be getting to this, Gary, but the Shelton State women's golf team won the Alabama Community College Conference Championship on March 27th.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm glad you mentioned that. They won the state championship, Shelton State women's golf. Also yesterday for local softball was an exciting day at Holt, because, Holt's got the new high school. Now they're trying to get their athletic facilities over there, and they christened their new softball field. Portia Jones, Tuscaloosa County School Board member, threw out the first pitch at Adam T. Lee Field. After 2 months of construction, they played their first game there. The field's named after its former softball coach who passed away from cancer in May of 2022. Lee graduated from Holt in 1998 and led the Ironman program to its first appearance in the AHSAA State Softball Tournament 2000. Now, they're still working on the stadium. No scoreboard, bleachers, or flagpoles as construction's ongoing, but they were able to play on the field. That was a big, big day for Holt yesterday. So that's some other stuff that's going on this morning. We're going to get...
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Life doesn't wait for when your finances are in perfect order. It just happens. But no matter what surprises come your way, Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. They offer an easy application process and fast decisions so you can stay focused on feeling good about whatever life brings your way. Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages.
Get great family picks with new Easter looks. It's easy with 20% off dresses, polos, and more. Hop in fast for our best Easter deals, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
As much as Innisfree has evolved, it will always be that place to escape and have a good time. Whether it's for a game day weekend, to reminisce on college days, or to create new memories, if you're looking for a good time, there's only one thing to do. Head to the Free at 1925 University Boulevard. And don't forget about the Lucky Lunch Meat and 3 special. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Get a meat and 3 vegetables for just $8.49. Or for a lighter appetite, try the Lucky Lunch soup, salad, or sandwich combo. I'll see you at the Free.
Need to know what's going on with the Crimson Tide? Then subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive content on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Saturday in the Park. I always enjoy hearing that song. For one thing, I love Chicago. I love that band. I love that song. And it always means here on the Gary Harris Show on a Friday that we got Adam Aminat, and talented play-by-play broadcaster for Fox Sports. Hasn't been with us the last couple of weeks, but we got him back, and always, as I said, a pleasure to talk with Adam about what's going on in the world of sports. And we focus a lot on Major League Baseball, the NBA, NFL, because that's what Adam is focused on these days. But we're going to talk a little college basketball this morning, Adam. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, of course. It's that time of year, my friend.
Yeah, and it's time for Alabama to do something they'd only done once before, and that's play an Elite Eight game. They're going to do that against Clemson tomorrow evening out at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Bama last night knocking off North Carolina. I know professional sports is your wheelhouse these days, but this is an exciting time, and for Alabama fans, and listen, it's a football school, we get it, but really good basketball program, but a chance now to make some history with one more win.
Yeah, how about it? I mean, Clemson's probably feeling the same thing, in all honesty. But, it's two teams that we heard a lot about in the run-up to the tournament. I heard a lot about Clemson and heard good things about what Alabama could do. And, North Carolina kind of had some issues as I watched it in the second half yesterday in terms of holding on to the ball, not getting good shots up. I thought Alabama locked in defensively for the last couple of minutes of that game. I thought Grant Nelson played very, very well. There were some really good things to enjoy, and it was a gutty effort. To beat a one seed is never easy. To beat a favorite in a tournament is never easy, but that's what makes this time of year so great. It's what makes it fun, and I think Nate Oates has done a really solid job this season.
We're going to wind it down. I love how streamlined this tournament is. You get 68, and in the first weekend you go from 64 to 16, and then you go from 16 to a Final Four. You got, for the most part, for all the excitement with upsets, North Carolina State's the only double-digit seed that's left. There is, still some really, really good teams. Is Connecticut, of course, obviously you got Purdue with Edey, and you got Houston and the pressure there with Kelvin Sampson to get to the Final Four. Is Connecticut, though, going back-to-back, are they the clear favorites in this tournament, do you think, Adam?
Just watching them offensively, they're still the favorite. They're probably as elite of a college offense as we've seen. That being said, I think defensively they've also been dominant at times in this tournament and over the course of the season as well. It'll be fun to watch Illinois. It's a really strong offensive team go up against a really good defensive team in UConn, which has size. They have length. They had that, in spades last year when they won the title. They lost a few players and still were able to reload. They lost guys like Andre Jackson and Adamas Sanogo, and they still have so much length on the perimeter, and it's really difficult. And that was one thing I saw with Illinois yesterday against Iowa State. Iowa State's a pretty good defensive team, too. And, they had some trouble trying to get penetration and trying to get into their actions because of the length of Iowa State. So I give credit to Illinois for getting through that yesterday, but it's going to be tougher come Saturday against a lengthy defensive team.
All right, let's stay with basketball, but let's get to the NBA. And I guess this is why we love sports. I mean, you got Boston, clearly the best team in the East and by a wide margin right now, the best record in the NBA. But the difference in them being 59-14 and 57-16, which is what they are, 2 games this week against the Atlanta Hawks. And, a team that's, just trying to get into the playoffs. And Boston blows a 30-point lead. And loses last night to Atlanta in overtime. It's just, and now I caught some of that game. I was at the sports office, obviously monitoring Alabama basketball, but was able to see enough of the Hawks. Hawks got into it. I mean, Hawks were treating it like it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals, but, give them credit, right? I mean, they beat the Celtics twice this week.
Yeah, and they did it without a couple of their players. It's still without Trae Young, still no Sadiq Bey. Jalen Johnson has missed time. He's having one of the best years of any improving player in the NBA right now. It was wild. That's a big week for Atlanta. Remember, they're still pushing Chicago for the chance to get to the 9 seed.
They are.
Host a play-in game, which I know it doesn't seem like much, but that's what these teams are playing for right now at the bottom of the Eastern Conference playoff picture and the play-in picture. They're looking to host a play-in game, and the Bulls, on the other hand, went through a 3-game losing streak last week and suddenly saw Atlanta creep back to within a game in the loss column. And, Atlanta feels good right now about what they're doing, and rightfully so. This is a really good basketball team when they're healthy. And even when they're not, they have depth. DeJounte Murray is still an elite level guard. I don't know what they're going to end up doing, come the off season. They tried to, consider trading DeJounte Murray at one point during the season this year. There were trade rumors surrounding him. He's played really, really well. He's got a big contract, so he might end up getting, traded. I don't know if Trae Young is going to maintain his status in Atlanta. You see what they've done without him. I'm not sure what the future of that organization is in the very near future, but right now they're playing very, very well, and they've turned things around after, a very up and down season over the course of this year.
Speaking of the Bulls, that's your team. You got Bulls Nets tonight. Bulls, as you mentioned, lost 3, but they've come back with a win. And in the situation they're in, trying to hold off the Hawks, trying maybe even still to catch the Sixers, can't afford a loss tonight against a team that has played better of late, the Brooklyn Nets.
Nets are playing very well as of late, and another team that's probably not going to make it into the play-in picture. It's probably a little bit too late for them. Their chances of making the playoffs are less than 1%. But they played well, and the Bulls, as we just discussed, have not earned the right to take anybody lightly, especially a Brooklyn Nets team that has Mikal Bridges playing very, very, very well. Dennis Schroeder got picked up in a trade about a month and a half ago. He's played well since he's come over from Toronto. So they've got some pieces. And Nick Claxton, I still think, is one of the great young defensive players in the NBA. They're playing pretty well right now. And I think for the Bulls, especially for a team like Atlanta, those teams are probably going to be locked into either the 9 or the 10, and they're jockeying for the positioning on their own. But they're probably going to be the 9-10 game, and they're fighting for the right to host that game. And these are very important tune-up games, basically what it feels like more than anything else right now. This is the two teams that played so up and down all year. I know that's been a lot of the Eastern Conference. I know injuries have played a factor in that for a lot of teams, the Bulls, the Hawks, the Philadelphia 76ers, all those teams have dealt with a ton of injuries this year, so I understand. But I feel like none of these teams is really playing its best basketball consistently enough at the end of the season. And if these teams are going to be fighting for playoff spots, and it may be for the right to get swept by Boston come playoff time. Who knows? But all that being said, this is still these are still important games to try to get right.
All the dramas in the Western Conference with the Nuggets, the defending NBA champions, half game up on the T-Wolves, and the Thunder. Clips have faded a little bit as of late. Pelicans are making a push, but we say that, but then all the focus is on the 9th and 10th place teams, the Lakers and the Warriors. Warriors trying to hold off the Rockets, and we saw what happened with Draymond the other night, and tell you get the feeling his teammates are getting tired of his act. But the Lakers have won 5 in a row, and so you've got two teams that are at the bottom of the Western Conference standings as far as the playoffs are concerned, but that's the two teams that everybody wants to talk about. So Lakers or Warriors, who do you think has first of all, the Warriors got to get in, but who do you think has a stronger case for the postseason, LA or Golden State?
I think LA does. I think they're a better defensive team when they're healthy. I think Davis and LeBron are still as formidable of a tandem as we have in the league. And, both of these teams, with their veteran presences, kind of know when to turn things on. That being said, the Draymond thing is very volatile for Golden State. You don't know what Draymond you're going to get on a nightly basis. Is he more interested in doing the off the court, broadcasting stuff and podcasting stuff and talking about these interesting situations rather than participating in them? I think they have to figure that out. LeBron wants to lock in. This is the time of year where LeBron really starts to focus in on things, and that's not surprising to me. I think at this point, he's always been able to do that. He's got a great feel for this time of year. Remember, they were in this position. Both these teams were in this position last year. They were lower seeds. They had to play higher seeds in their first round series after fighting through a play-in. And I still feel like they're dangerous. Every time you talk to somebody about the Lakers, they still feel like they're dangerous because you can't count LeBron James out of any playoff series. So any type of one and done or playoff series, you got to believe that LeBron's going to want to be, his best self on the biggest stage. And I'm not thinking that that's going to change anytime soon.
Adam Amin from Fox Sports with us. All right, Major League Baseball is back. First of all, you texted me that you're on the call for Bulls Nets tonight and Padres Giants on Saturday. One of these games you're doing remotely. Which one?
Oh no, we're on the first flight out from JFK.
Holy!
Head out to Los Angeles in the morning and hopefully landing at about 9:30 West Coast time and getting a ride up to San Diego and calling the game and then red-eyeing out of there to Minneapolis on Saturday night. So that's just one of those weekends, man.
Well, Adam, I never dreamed. I appreciate you getting up this morning and then coming on my show because you could have easily just said, my gosh, dude. Well, great. I'm excited. When I saw it, I said, well, he's going to be working remotely on one of these games. Wow. Well, good luck. I know you're double preparing. I'm trying to get you on out of here. All right. Major League Baseball is back and man, we had a couple doozies to start the season. Let's start with the Cubs, in Texas. The Rangers get their World Series rings and have their celebration pregame, and then they come back and beat the Cubs in 10 last night, 4-3. Heck of a ball game.
Really good ball game, and Texas looks sharp, and I'm excited to see what a title defense for them looks like because it was such a strange year last season. There was so much going on. You got to the postseason, the Rangers would spend all this money. Got all their young players playing very, very well, and Garcia had the magical run in the playoffs, and battled the team that they battled with all, the final 2 months in Houston in that ALCS to get to the World Series. And I'll be curious what a title defense looks like because all these other teams are loading back up. And there's this sense that, it's pretty wide open, even though the big money teams are who they are. You think about what the Dodgers have done and what their big three is going to do, and their big three look good. Texas has spent all this money in the last couple of years, but how is this going to look? That division is going to be competitive again. Seattle has tried to add some pieces. Houston is Houston. They're still as consistent as any team in baseball. And the Rangers have set themselves up for this 2-3 year window to try to be able to compete at a high level on the biggest stage in baseball again. So I enjoyed watching that game. I enjoyed seeing Texas come back. I enjoyed the atmosphere when they got their World Series rings and the kind of joy to start the season. I'll be fascinated to see how this plays out for a team like Texas.
Absolutely. And the Yankees, Houston jumped all over them, and you thought, well, man, this is going to be a cruise job for the Astros. But Juan Soto, he kind of kickstarted the offense in the fifth, and then obviously that incredible throw he had to throw out the potential tying run at home plate. And the Yankees come back from 4-0 down after 2 innings to beat the Stros 5-4. I know it's just one game out of 162, but this Yankees team, a lot of people are curious as how they're going to come together. It was certainly a good start.
Yeah, good first impression for Soto, and this is why you bring somebody like this in. You gave up a lot of prospects in that trade with San Diego to bring in Juan Soto, a couple of decent pitching prospects and some key pieces in your bullpen, and this is what you want. You want impact plays. You want what he did at the plate, and to be able to get big-time defensive plays like that, from a position that, they had Aaron Judge out there, and they mixed in a few guys, but that's a really loaded outfield that they have right now. So the fact that he makes an immediate impact is probably the thing that's most important right now for this Yankee team, right? Like, this is a team that got very little help for Aaron Judge over the course of the season last year when they needed it at moments. Obviously, he was hurt for a little while and the offense went into the tank. But I feel like this is why you bring somebody like a Soto in. They're playing, or they're lining up back to back in the lineup. They're hoping Stanton will be okay. So you have a really good Soto, Judge, Stanton, 2, 3, 4 in the order. If Rizzo can get back to some health, they brought in Alex Verdugo, so their outfield is pretty well set, and they can rotate Stanton in. So I like what I saw from the Yankees. I like they were able to get some offense going in the middle of their order, and they got some help from the bottom as well. Guys in the bottom of the order like Verdugo, like Jose Trevino, like Volpe, the young shortstop, they all contributed offensively too. So that was their biggest issue last year. Their pitching was fine for the most part when they were healthy. As long as they're healthy, they'll be fine. Cortez pitched okay, but not great as he tries to get back from the injury last year. So there's a lot to like. There's some volatility there. It's still a really, really good division. The Blue Jays are still in there, and they played well at the end of the year last year. Baltimore looked great in their game against the Angels. I think they scored 10, 11 runs in their first game. The Red Sox are probably going to be at the bottom of that division, but the Rays are the Rays. And then Toronto played well. They've got good offense. It's going to be a really, really fun divisional race once again.
All right, Adam, one more, and I'm going to let you get out of here. Well, 2 more, just real quickly on the Shohei Ohtani and interpreter deal. So Shohei is in the clear, from what I understand, right? I mean, it's
sure. Okay,
so that the Dodgers are good on that end. NFL, I had to ask Justin what a hip drop tackle was. It's like a tackle to me. And then the new kickoff rule. What do you think? I'm not a big fan of the hip drop tackle being banned because to me, if you're a safety or a corner and you're chasing down one of these big tight ends or running backs and I don't know. I'm just kind of curious, Adam. We're going to get to the point where it's going to be hard to tackle anybody. What do you think of that rule?
It's tough. I've had some explanations to me as to why it's done, and obviously it can prevent a lot of hip and ankle and knee injuries because that hip drop tackle, you're basically wrapping around the waist and then pulling down. And what ends up happening is that guys get their feet planted in the ground and then are getting torqued, in different directions by their hips or their thighs. And yeah, it can be a very dangerous play. I understand that. That being said, if you ask a lot of the players, especially defensive players, you're basically telling them that they don't really have much of a right to do anything at this point. And there are only so many positions where you can really make a great form tackle, especially like you talked about with, big, strong offensive players who are faster than they've ever been. I always look at Derrick Henry as the kind of chief amongst the big running backs that are hard to bring down, and you have to be really strong to bring those guys down. And if you're not in the perfect position that, you're told you got to do whatever you can to bring the guy down. And that often ends up being that hip drop tackle. And it's not something that defenders do purposefully to injure guys. That's not at all the case. It's just, that's what they have to do to hold on, especially when you have, corners that are I don't know. What's Derrick Henry weigh? 225, you think? 230?
I'd say more like 240. I really would.
240?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a 200-pound corner outweighed by 30, 40 pounds, and all you can do is try to force your weight onto Derrick Henry at a lower part of his legs, because that's where they might be a little bit weaker, and that's where you might be able to get a little bit of leverage. So that naturally occurs when you're playing somebody strong like a Derrick Henry and trying to tackle him. So, if you ask defensive players, they feel like they just don't have, any leverage at trying to bring down these really, really impressive running backs, these really physical players. The kickoff, hopefully it prevents injury. I don't doubt that there's going to be a lot of frustration for defensive players. The kickoff, I'm fascinated by it.
I'm intrigued too. Yeah, I am too.
I'm intrigued, especially because the kickoff, and not to say that kickoff return touchdowns just completely went away, but the kickoff is, I'm not like a huge, I got to have my kickoffs in the NFL. I don't care that much. I love the thrill of a great kickoff return, and I've called several of them in my life, and it's always a good time, if nothing else. But this is really interesting. The setup zone and, the run up is going to be a little bit eliminated. Fair catches, aren't allowed anymore. So that kind of shifts of what we saw last year. And, the onside kicks have been unsuccessful for a long period of time. And you wonder if that's even going to matter anymore. Like that onside kick has kind of gone the way of the dodo at this point. So but I am intrigued more than anything else. I'm intrigued to see what this setup zone is going to look like. It was a pretty heavy approval rate. I think it was something like 30-2 or 29-3 amongst the owners. So they really wanted this rule for some reason, and I'm at the very least intrigued by it to see how this plays out and see if this adds any extra elements to the game, even though I know the onside kick is going away.
Adam, thank you so much. I'm going to let you get maybe a nap or whatever you need to do. Prepare for an NBA game tonight on the East Coast and flying cross country to do a Major League Baseball game on Saturday between the Padres and the Giants. Thank you so much.
You got it, buddy. All
right, Adam and me. 9:50, we'll take a break, come back and wrap up the first hour of the Gary Harris Show. We are going to squeeze in a phone call on the other side with Corey. I know he wants to talk some softball. Hold tight, Corey. We'll get to you in the next segment. We'll be back after this. Los Tarascos has been serving Mexican favorites like burritos, fajitas, and quesadillas since 1999. Their new location is at 4100 Owen Parkway in Northport. And of course, you can find Los Tarascos in Tuscaloosa at 110 Skyland Boulevard. The bar areas feature big screen television so you can enjoy your favorite sporting events. Los Tarascos features daily happy hour specials. And for the best Mexican cuisine in West Alabama, remember, the name is Los Tarascos with locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport. Since 2011, Billy's Sports Grill, located on Main Avenue in historic downtown Northport, has been serving their legendary signature chicken sandwich, award-winning wings, and handcrafted cocktails. Billy's is also the spot to watch all your favorite sporting events with big screen, high-definition televisions in both dining rooms, at the bar, and outside on the beautiful patio. Come by and say hello to Kim and Lisa, the Billy's management dream team. Billy's, good food, good friends, and good time.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A big warm up today with a sunny sky. Tuscaloosa's high 73. Fair tonight, the low 57. For the weekend, the warming trend continues. Mostly sunny tomorrow and Sunday. The high tomorrow 78 for Sunday afternoon. The high 81. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3320 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 50 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to the Gary Harris Show. On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 9:52. The Cure, Friday My Love. Friday I'm in Love, our first hour getaway song. But we're not ready to get away yet, because we're going to jump out on the First Main Condos hotline, and Corey has been patiently waiting. Hey, good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Gary. How you doing this morning?
Doing well.
Well, I hate to kill the mood of Alabama basketball for just a second here, but I said this last night, but you just can't lose to Kentucky. I mean, I mean, I know anything can happen in softball, but that's just a bad loss. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, if you want to be taken seriously as a contender in the SEC, you can't lose to teams like that. And after watching the game last night, Kentucky didn't do anything special. We gave them 3 runs, and they only had 1 hit that resulted in 2 runs, and another one resulted off of an error. So it was our bad play that resulted in us losing, because if I'm playing a team and I see Alabama, they're hitting the ball, I can understand that. But if we're making our mistakes, that's really what gets under my skin. And to do that against a team like Kentucky is really what frustrated me last night. And like I said, it's just a bad loss. I mean,
they played poorly. They played poorly, and you're right, defensively mistakes, and then you're down 6-1. Yeah, and listen, give Giles and who hit the other home run in the 6th? Corey.
Broadfoot.
Yeah, Broadfoot. Give those 2 credit for getting a couple solo home runs, and then Alabama getting some runners on base in the 7th. But offensively, and you and I were concerned about this, the way the game's played this day and age, they're going to have a hard time keeping up offensively with these teams in the SEC. You can see it. This is a team they got work to do, man. They got work to do. They fall to 2-5 in the league. This is 3 straight SEC series to start the season where they've lost the first game of the series, and you're scrambling to try to win the series. So I'm with you. I'm concerned, Corey. I am.
I mean, the thing that's concerning now is that all 3 phases of the team are struggling right now. I mean, pitching is not on point. Defense is starting to fall apart at times. And offensively, if they fall behind in a game, they don't seem to fight back. And in game 2s in the SEC, they've been run ruled twice. And it makes you wonder what's going to happen today. And like I said, Kentucky's the worst team in the SEC, but I meant to tell you this last night, but I didn't want to. I wanted to save it for today. Alabama's lost 3 of their last 4 dating back to last year, their SEC series. That's a bad trend going into this series. And so they got to start winning some of these series if they want to make a push for the postseason and hosting, because if Alabama keeps dropping these SEC series, they're not going to host a regional. But it's plain and simple.
Yeah, I just got a text, and they, Kentucky did have a really good pitcher in the circle last night. We do need to mention
that. They did. They actually lead the SEC in strikeouts. So something I was concerned about was their ability to strike out batters. But still, the thing with them is that they in Kentucky give up a lot of hits, give up a lot of home runs. They should be a team that, if you can have some semblance of offense, should be able to score on them, and we can't do any of that. Our offense is so pathetic that we can't even put a threat together, and that's what's so frustrating, is that we don't even threaten teams. I mean, that's what's frustrating about this team, is that our pitching and defense may be good at times, but we don't even threaten teams offensively.
Got to run, Corey. Great thoughts, my friend. Hopefully they'll bounce back and get a win.
Great win for Alabama basketball. Grant Nelson may never buy a drink in Tuscaloosa ever again.
You may see a lot of these young guys, too, these fraternity guys growing the stash, too, now. So I wouldn't be surprised. Thank you, Corey. Have a good weekend, buddy.
Good talk to you, Ryan.
All right,
Gary Rowe-Time.
You betcha. That's going to wrap it up for the first hour. It's been brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. Hour number 2 is on the way. Our Krispy Kreme donuts for a year giveaway, plus a beautiful Krispy Kreme heavy cotton, 100% cotton T-shirt. We'll give that away. We'll also get it started with Al Dillard, former Arkansas Deadeye 3-point shooter, talking some basketball with him, and the Auburn Report with Brett Pritchard at 10:30. Another hour of the Gary Harris Show is on the way. As much as Innisfree has evolved, it will always be that place to escape and have a good time. Whether it's for a game day weekend, to reminisce on college days, or to create new memories, if you're looking for a good time, there's only one thing to do. Head to the Free at 1925 University Boulevard. And don't forget about the Lucky Lunch Meat and 3 special. Krispy Kreme is open 7 days a week. To see our complete donut, coffee, and espresso menu, visit our website at KrispyKremeTuscaloosa.com. Krispy Kreme, hot now and anytime.
If you haven't already, you've got to try Tuscaloosa's unique breakfast, brunch, and lunch concept. Brick and Spoon, downtown Tuscaloosa, Timerson Square. It's fresh food with a Cajun flair featuring a full bar with build-your-own Bloody Marys and mimosas. Open daily, 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. Available for after-hours events, rehearsal dinners, receptions, and birthdays. They offer brunch and lunch catering. Call Brick and Spoon at 205-345-5551 for more information. Life doesn't wait for when your finances are in perfect order. It just happens. But no matter what surprises come your way, Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. They offer an easy application process and fast decisions so you can stay focused on feeling good about whatever life brings your way. Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Visit alabamacu.com to learn more. Some rules and restrictions apply. See if you're eligible for membership, then join today and feel good about your money.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monty Bolaños.
The NFL Network is reporting that Jaguars linebacker Foye Oluokun is signing a new 4-year deal worth $45 million that includes $22.5 million fully guaranteed at signing. They also report that Welsh rugby star Louis Rees-Zammit will be in Kansas City today to sign his 3-year contract with the Chiefs, one that includes some guaranteed money and a signing bonus. In the NBA on Thursday, the Hawks knocked off the top team, the Celtics, for the second time in 4 days with a 123-122 victory in overtime. DeJounte Murray had 44 points and the game-winning shot for Atlanta. In men's Sweet 16 action, number 1 seed North Carolina lost to number 4 seed Alabama 89-87. The Crimson Tide advances to the Elite 8 for just the second time. Number 2 seed Arizona fell to number 6 seed Clemson 77-72. And it was opening day in Major League Baseball. The reigning champs, the Rangers, edged the Cubs 4-3 in 10 innings.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
More information is expected later today from the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit after a shooting at the Shell convenience store at Skyland and McFarland this morning. Victim transported to DCH in unknown condition. After an 11-hour search in the Gulf of Mexico, Tuscaloosa native and former ACA quarterback and coach and current Sylacauga High head football coach Chris Melly was found safe. He had been on a fishing trip. Alabama men's basketball team upset North Carolina 89-87. They move to the Elite 8 round tomorrow night at 7:50 against Clemson in Los Angeles.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. The Gary Harris Show. UCM host Tider Insider TV. Crimson Tide Kickoff. Play-by-play for Alabama sports and sports director for WVUA 23. It's time for the Gary Harris Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Hour number 2 of the Gary Harris Show, the TGIF edition rolls on, man. We were jam-packed in hour number 1, and we're going to be just as busy in hour number 2, man. Everybody buzzing in Tuscaloosa this morning with Alabama 1 win away from the Final Four, and we're about to get to a guest who knows all about the Final Four and winning a national championship. First, though, I need to tell you this hour of the Gary Harris Show brought to you, as always, by Patterson Comer Attorneys at Law. And if you need a personal injury law firm, the 1-800 firms, they're big, they're there. You can call them up. They'll help you out, but you might not even meet your lawyer in person. Think about that. You might do everything over the phone. Patterson Comer, feet on the ground in West Alabama, Paul Patterson and Mike Comer. You'll meet with them if they take your case. They're going to be with you all the way, and I think that's important myself. And I can vouch for these guys, not only as lawyers, but as high character. Gentlemen, Paul's in Tuscaloosa at 205-345-1000. Mike is in Northport at 205-759-3939. If you need a attorney for a automobile accident, personal injury, wrongful death, product liability, or an 18-wheeler accident, Patterson Comer Attorneys at Law. The commitment to serve our clients does not stop at the end of the workday. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. PattersonComerLawFirm.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of services performed by other lawyers.
All right, we're going to jump out on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline. And remember, a little bit later on in the show, we're giving away Krispy Kreme Donuts for a year, plus a heavy cotton, 100% cotton Krispy Kreme t-shirt. But we're going to visit with Al Dillard, who knows all about the Final Four and winning a national championship, the former Jess Lanier Purple Tiger, Southern Union Community College standout, and Arkansas national champion in 1994. And this was a guy who, we see Dame Lillard and Steph Curry pull up from anywhere now. And it's kind of become, we're used to seeing guys shoot 30, 35 footers. But when Al was playing at Arkansas, there were some 3-point shooters, but he was the first guy that I can remember that just had the green light from anywhere. He would shoot from deep like the guys do now. 30 footers were common for him. In fact, the Arkansas fans, they dubbed him, with all types of nicknames. Al 3D Dillard, Deadeye Al, all kinds of, nicknames because this guy could light it up. Good morning, Al. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you, Gary?
Doing great, man. Good to have you on. And we're going to talk some basketball, obviously. But first, let's track your journey to get to Arkansas. Jess Lanier, Southern Union. I'm assuming Mike Anderson was the connection there, or was it more Nolan Richardson? How did you wind up playing at Arkansas?
It was Mike Anderson's brother.
Okay.
I was playing in the men's league. Against him, and he just asked, who is this cat right here? And they're like, that's Al. And, and he didn't know, because like I said, I wasn't in school. I was working at McDonald's right here on 6th Avenue in the drive-thru hooking out my homeboys up with free food. Okay, so you were already done at
Southern Union. You were not playing at the time. You were just, this was like.
No. I wasn't in college, period.
Wow.
Period. I was playing in a men's league. And I was playing against his brother.
Holy cow.
Mike Anderson's older brother.
How about that?
We was in a semi. And, that's why I tell kids, you got to carry yourself a certain way. You never know who's in the gym. And true story. And he called his brother. And he said, hey, man, would you go to college if I could help you out? I'm like, yeah, I'll go to school. And then I end up trying out for Southern Union because I seen where they had trials. I saw it in the paper. And then I went down, and John Glenn he and I was really cool. That's Charles Barkley's baby brother. And we call him Dre. Dre like, hey, this guy here, he's a man of his word. Whatever he say is legit. Mm-hmm. And to this day, that man has never lied to me. And he was extremely hard, and challenging. And, he pushed us. And so, I tried out. I ended up getting a 2-year scholarship. And, hard work, man. Hard work, got me a full ride to Arkansas.
Yeah, and it paid off. And that's awesome. I knew you had an unusual path, and I was thinking Mike Anderson, but I didn't realize it was actually his brother, but that got you there. Yeah, and you get there, and you join one of the best basketball teams ever, and you fit right in. Of course, I know this was, 40 minutes of hell era with Nolan Richardson, and you guys never let up on the defensive end, but you pushed the pace on offense too. But how did it, and obviously they brought you in because they knew you could shoot. I mean, that's what you call. But Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, even in college now, it's nothing to see guys pull up from 5, 8, 10 feet behind the 3-point line. But that wasn't the way the game was played there. How did did that staff go about saying, hey, Al, you got the green light, man. You can pull up and pop from anywhere? Just because they saw you do it so often, but how did that come about?
It started at Southern Union. My coach, Ron Rafford, man, he took me, and put me in the gym and said, you got to get a shot. Yes, you're quick, you athletic. He's like, but no one's going to guard you unless you can really shoot the ball. He said, that's one you're weak. So I had a decent shot, and he took it from decent to what it ended up being. And I just, I worked every day. I shot 800 shots a day.
Wow.
I shot 800 shots. I shot 100. I shot 100 free throws. I shot 100 mid range, and then I would shoot 600 three. But it was just like, I had a drill that I'd normally do, and I would shoot close to the three, then I would shoot deep from the, three. And it was just a muscle memory. You know? So it wasn't. The kids understand it's not what you see when I did in the game; it's what I did behind the scenes. You know, I was really focused and locked in.
Your first year, you shot 41% from three, and that was on 183 attempts. I mean, that is some dead eye shooting, that nickname. That team, was so special. And, Noah and Richardson had been building it. And then in 93, 94, you come into a team that's set right there with Corliss Williamson and all those guys that were so talented. They had, kind of been close. But did it almost feel like, you came in there and it was now or never as far as that national championship was concerned? Was there a sense of urgency to win it that season, even though you were a new player? Did you feel that from that coaching staff and those players?
Well, when I went to visit, of course, there was Scotty, Beck, McDaniel, Corliss, and Dwight. They were just like, look, man, we are so close to a certain goal that we set for ourselves. And we think you'll be the added piece. And like I tell people all the time, at Southern I averaged 30 points a game my second season. And here's a testament to the mental toughness. When you average 30 points a game, and you play 35 minutes, then you go to Arkansas and play 15, 18 minutes, and you average 9 or 10 points a game, what do you do? So I had to put myself aside, and I was like, it was for the game, for the team, and that's how we were. I talked to Nolan Tuesday. I just talked to him Tuesday, and he the reason we were so successful was because the love we had for one another. There was no envy, jealousy. Corliss would always tell us, "Hey man, it's gonna be 16 NBA GMs in the gym. Play your ass off in practice." We did that anyway, but he would just tell us. And so, man, I mean, just I told Nolan I would do it again. I would do it again. Even that was the hardest thing I've ever done as far as basketball. I had never seen that type of defensive schemes. I had never ran that much in my life. I was like a damn Kenyan, man. I was like a Kenyan, bro.
Hey, at least you didn't have to run barefoot. At least he didn't make you run barefoot.
No, but we had this hill called Cleveland, and it was a monster. It'll tell the transmission. But Nolan, man, he had tactics that would be against the rules and regulations today.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. Listen. A lot of coaches that coach then couldn't coach now. But yeah, I guess I asked about the sense of urgency.
No.
Yeah, because they'd had, the teams with Todd Day and Lee Mayberry and Oliver Miller and didn't win the national championship. So, you walked in there and it was right. That national championship game against Duke. This is Duke we're talking about now. And, I know Scotty Thurman hit that three and obviously it was pandemonium, but what do you remember about that game and the build up to it?
The thing that stands out the most is when Nolan called a timeout and we were down I think somewhere between 13 maybe 11, 13 or 14 points. And he just looked at us and he just like, hey, that's it. Shut it down. And he was real calm and cool, and he like, hey, that's the best they can do. That is the best they can do. He was like, hey, we're gonna just take this possession by possession. Stop, score. Stop, score. And then we had that first five, man. Beck, Max, Scotty, Cy, Dwight. Man, we had those guys, man, and it was tough. It was a matchup problem because nobody could guard Corliss. Nobody. And we had 4 out and 1 in. That is what's missing today. What team that you see has a dominant inside in a perimeter? That's gone. Kids can't even shoot mid-range shots no more.
No doubt.
We practiced on that at Arkansas every day, Gary. Every day we had a pro hop. It was a drill called a pro hop. You have to take one drill to get from the 3-point extended three to the elbow off one hop. It's just by the grace of God, my knees are not shot. It was a drill, man. We did, And so, like me, we talked about 45 minutes. There's so many things that was good for the game. Now that's not good for the game. You know, he would never tell us you can't shoot a mid-range.
Mm-hmm.
He would never do that. He wanted us to score in all three factors, 3 mid-posts. And so now it's either a 3 or a layup. And so, you know.
Yeah. Well,
as they call it, you know,
analytics. Well, and I was going to say the biggest proponent of that is the coach right now, Nate Oates at Alabama. And I wanted to ask you what. Of course, they're 1-1 away from the Final Four against Clemson tomorrow evening, but he's a proponent of either 3-pointers or getting to the rim. Now, every now and then you'll see somebody, mainly Estrada, Reitzel when he was playing, they'll get some in-range shots in, but it's what you were talking about. It's the 3-pointer or getting to the rim and scoring a layup or getting to the free throw line. But I will say this, they score a lot of points. They get up and down the floor. What do you think of the style that Alabama's playing?
If you got big that can't run the floor, it's going to be a problem for you. You know, it's going to be a problem. I don't know what Clemson did the first time they played them. I don't know if they slowed the game down and made it a half-court game.
They did. They played a little bully ball. They put a little bully ball on them, Al. They got it down in the low block and made Alabama guard them down low, and Alabama struggled with that.
And that is the difference in the way I coach today, like I told Nolan Tuesday, than he coached. Back when we was in school, it was pressure. You know, we had a standard. He used to call it, you run and execute, not run and shoot. And so that's what I implement today. We run and execute, in-your-face defense, you know, the next 5, get ready. But, you know, Sears was dead tired, man.
Yeah.
They were dead tired. They were dead tired. You know, Noli's always say, when they are tired, when they are grabbing their shorts, we are grabbing the damn rim. And that was just him. You know, but like getting back to the point, I would say if they can continue to push the ball, the kid number 2 last night, he is the X factor of
Grant Nelson, no doubt. Yeah, he had played. He didn't have a field goal against Grand Canyon. He went nuts last night. Yeah.
No. You know, he is the X factor. He brought Bacon out. He drove by him, reverse layup. And if you notice, Alabama took the advantage of the time Baycott went on the floor. They took advantage of that. You know, they made shots. North Carolina went cold. But to me, Gary, I'll tell you the turnaround of that whole entire game. And it's just a simple play. When Baycott missed that dunk, that was it.
Yeah, how did he miss that? I still can't figure that out, but he did.
I don't know. At 16, I don't know.
But he did.
I don't know.
It was Alabama's night.
I mean, Gary, think about this. You just think about it, Gary. You've been doing this for a long time. When he missed that dunk, Alabama went down and they never looked back.
You're right. That was a game-changing play. Game-changing play. No doubt.
I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? Even though number 2 missed these free throws, that play right there changed the whole dynamic of the game. He was never the same no more after that. Look at his body language when he comes down. He was never the same after that. And so, you know, Bama took advantage of it. And I like Sears. And I love Spider-Man. I don't know where the hell he come from, but he's tough. He's tough.
Well, I tell you what, really man.
Tough. And
it's been awesome catching up with you. Before we close it out, who do you like tomorrow night between Alabama and Clemson? Did we lose Al? Al, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. If Alabama play like they played the second half, I'll go with Alabama. If they play like they played the second half,
yeah,
I'm going with Alabama.
Well, hopefully they will. They need to put 40 minutes.
If they play the second half, I'm going.
And you said you alluded to coaching. I know you're in Birmingham. Before we, have to get to the break, what exactly are you doing these days?
So I coach. I'm one assistant coach at Fair City High School.
Awesome.
And I coach AAU. The name of our organization is SMB, Self-Made Ballers. So, man, we trying to do the best we can with these young kids, get them scholarships and get them away from here, get them out, to get college degrees and become young men. But That's what I've been doing for like the last 28 years.
That's awesome.
I've been big in the AAU. Really have.
Robbie Glenn wanted me to ask you if you ever did.
I'll ask you one question.
Yeah, Robbie Glenn wanted me to ask you a question. Did you ever dunk on him?
No, man, I have never dunked on Robbie Glenn. He is the most athletic white cat I've ever seen. He is the most athletic white cat I've ever seen, bro.
Do you remember a buddy of mine? I think you played some summer league ball. You remember a guy named Lee Fisher?
Yes.
Yeah, he played.
A little short dude.
Yeah, a little short dude that could shoot it. Yeah. He used to tell me all the time he played against you.
Yeah, I know Lee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Lee. Yeah. He can shoot it. Yeah, he can shoot it now. He ain't gonna put that thing on the floor, but he can shoot it.
He can pull it up and pop it, but he used to talk about how well you shot it too. This is awesome. What were you going to ask me? You said you had a question for me.
I want to ask you, who do Mark Sears remind you of?
Oh, it reminds me of Jalen Brunson. I've heard a lot of other people say it, but I think that's a fair comparison. Uses his body, only about 6'1", understands angles, big physical kid, looks like a strong safety. So, but I'm sure you may have somebody in college in mind. But he reminds me of Jalen Brunson of the Knicks.
Remind me of Damon Stoudemire.
Good. That is a good comparison too. Hadn't thought about Stoudemire in a while. Outside, out of mind. But yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You think about how he changed speed.
Yep.
His pace of the game.
You're right.
And like you said, the angle. They both left-handed.
That's right.
I played against Dame.
Yeah, I know you did. Oh, he was.
He reminded me a lot of Dame Stoudemire.
Boy, he could play. I mean, he
was a monster.
Yeah, he could play. So, Al, good catching up, man. We'll do it again, buddy.
Oh, absolutely, G.
Thank you. All right, Al Dillard with us from Birmingham, former Arkansas Razorback, one of the greatest shooters in SEC history. All right, we're getting to the break and going to come out with a couple phone calls. We got Cowboy and
counselingservice.org/DBC or maybe purchase at the door for $40. Proceeds benefit the Family Counseling Service of West Alabama.
Since 2011, Billy's Sports Grill, located on Main Avenue in historic downtown Northport, has been serving their legendary signature chicken sandwich, award-winning wings, and handcrafted cocktails. Billy's is also the spot to watch all your favorite sporting events with big screen, high-definition televisions in both dining rooms, at the bar, and out.
Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway.
Los Tarascos has been serving Mexican favorites like burritos, fajitas, and quesadillas since 1999. Their new location is at 4100 Owen Parkway in Northport. And of course, you can find Los Tarascos in Tuscaloosa at 110 Skyland Boulevard. The bar areas feature big screen television so you can enjoy your favorite sporting events. Los Tarascos features daily happy hour specials. And for the best Mexican cuisine in West Alabama, remember, the name is Los Tarascos with locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A big warm up today with a sunny sky. Tuscaloosa's high 73. Fair tonight, the low 57. For the weekend, the warming trend continues. Mostly sunny tomorrow and Sunday. The high tomorrow 78. For Sunday afternoon, the high 81. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 58 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
For more from Tide 100.9, let it fly! And there's it! Whoa! Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and SoundCloud.
Everybody's working for the weekend, and it's almost here. Friday, my favorite day of the week. The TGIF edition of the Gary Harris Show continues. And again, a reminder, before the show is over, we're going to do it probably in the final segment because we've got phone calls, and then we've got Brett Pritchard with the Auburn Report. But we're going to give away one of those 100% heavy cotton T-shirts from Krispy Kreme and a dozen donuts a month for a year. Free donuts for a year. We're going to give that away before the show's over. Right now, let's jump out on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline. Welcoming Cowboy from out there in Big D. Hey, Cowboy.
How you doing, Gary? Well, I guess they broke through. I told Bryce, one of your callers, I said, call me when they win a Sweet 16 game. So when they won it, he immediately called me. But he wasn't believing much before it started. I thought they had a puncher's chance for sure. The sad thing about some of this is we've had I thought this team, I told everybody that this team would be as good as last year's or maybe better, but wouldn't win the league. And I think that's what happened. You don't really have to win your league to get to the Final Four.
No, not at all.
You just got to get your right seeding and the right draw. And, you know, I'm ecstatic for the team and the program, but we've had a lot better teams record-wise than this one. Couldn't do it. But, hey, let's enjoy these guys. And, you know, I think they just gassed North Carolina. North Carolina went fast in the first half. And then late, you know, after about the 10-minute mark, they were kind of out of juice a little bit, you know. I'm sure the Tar Heel fans aren't happy today, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not real pleased. I have found, though, that, you know, they carry themselves pretty well. I thought the biggest thing that I noticed, found a thread before the game was just, you know, giving Jaron Stevenson the business a little bit about, you know, how could you go to Alabama over North Carolina, you know, and all that stuff, and you're going to regret it and all this kind of stuff. And I don't guess he regrets it too much this morning, but,
you know, speaking of him, I didn't realize his mother played basketball for North Carolina. CBS had a deal on it.
Yeah, not only did she play, she was a really good player. And, no, that's a North Carolina family now. I'm talking about, you know, grew up 10, 15 minutes from the campus. And you know, listen, he probably would have gone to North Carolina if he'd have stayed in high school for another year. But, you know, Nate Oates saw the potential that he could reclassify, and he wanted to get on into college. And you know, Alabama did a good job recruiting him. And I'm telling you now, next year, look out. He's going to be one of those breakout dudes. I mean, you got to remember, he still should be playing high school basketball right now. But he's got a lot of the same traits as Grant Nelson. I mean, he's a 6'10", 6'11" kid that can shoot the three, can handle the ball. So I expect big things from him. But what do you think about tomorrow night? You think Alabama, they really kind of got bullied a little bit. That was the first time we saw the formula really this season to how to beat Alabama was to have, they got two dominant, big, strong, low post, players, and they can play, you know, they can get physical with you, and they kind of were able to do that. What do you think about the game tomorrow night?
About that game, don't count the chickens. You better bring your hard hat for real tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you better bow it up. But man, I'm excited. It's I got him. I got him in the Final Four in my bracket. So, you know, I went ahead and took a flyer on Alabama because going into the tournament, it didn't look great, but you know they're doing it now.
Yeah. If they make it, you're going to know what time zone Phoenix is in, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I told you I was right yesterday. They never turn their clocks. So
I know they don't.
Yeah, so sometimes they're Pacific and sometimes they're Mountain. So right now they're an hour behind us. But my goal right now, my plan is if they win tomorrow night is to go to Phoenix. I didn't go to Los Angeles or Spokane, but I'm planning on going to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be there. Do my show there and cover it for TV.
Yeah. I know people might kill me for this, but can we do something about Major League Baseball putting that ghost runner on second? Texas beat Chicago with the ghost runner on second last night. But Tuscaloosa, David Robertson, he won the game.
Yeah, David is still. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned David Robertson. Still going strong. He's got to be close to 40 now. Let me look him up real quick. And also,
he'll be the last major league star probably from Birmingham Southern. You know, they're closing, and David played at Birmingham Southern. What a proud baseball tradition they have.
Yeah, he is. No, that was his brother that played at Birmingham Southern. You're thinking about Connor Robertson.
Oh, where's David?
David played at Alabama.
No, I thought his brother was at Alabama and David.
No, David played at Alabama. David played.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. David played at Alabama, and Connor played it.
Then.
Yeah, you are. He played. David played at Alabama. Only played 1 year, and then went on to the draft. But he was played at Central High School, and then at Paul Bryant High School, and then played at Alabama in 2005 as a freshman. Appeared in 32 games, with 3 games started, 7-5 record, 2.92 earned run average, 105 strikeouts. He was really, really good. And then in the sophomore season, helped Alabama win the SEC championship, and then of course, went on to the professional ranks. So.
Why don't don't they mention him much with the Alabama baseball program?
Well, I don't know, but he played here, so. But hey, man.
I'm sorry. I'm usually
no, it's
on top
okay.
of things.
No, his brother played over at Birmingham Southern. But Cowboy, let me get one more call in real quick before I have to take the break.
Be good, man.
Yeah, good to hear from you. All right, BT. Good morning, buddy. Bill, you there? Hey, Bill.
I am, Gary.
Hey, buddy. What's going on, man?
Not much, buddy. How about you?
Doing well. Good to hear from you.
Yes, sir. I was going to call in today about Bama, and I think if we keep doing the things we know how to do, like we're doing now, Gary, we'll continue to win.
Oh, no doubt about it, BT. I mean, no doubt about it.
That's a good point, ain't it?
No doubt, man. You're on top of it, brother. You're on top of it. So
yes, sir. We got the. Have you got an update on what's his name, Gary?
Latrell Wrightsell Jr.?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I think that's kind of like it was during the regular season. They're dealing with a head injury. It's day to day. To be honest with you, if he didn't play last night and they turn around and play again tomorrow night, my guess is he probably won't play. But that's simply my guess.
Okay, who were they putting in his position?
Well, they started Pringle last night and went big. Yeah, they started Pringle, so that's probably what they'll stay with because they're going to need some size against Clemson anyway. So even if Latrell plays tomorrow night, I have a feeling they might start Pringle anyway. You start Pringle and Nelson together, give them a little more size. So, but they're playing well, BT. Hey, brother, have a great day. I got to get to the commercial break, but I'm sure I'll talk to you at the TV station. All right, thank you, BT. All right, it is 10:30, and we're going to get to the break real quickly. I do want to mention to you the YMCA of Tuscaloosa. The Y is ready when you're ready for the Y. 2300 13th Street. Okay, I'm doing a lot of talking this morning. And, of course, real quickly, too, I want to mention, so happy that Chris Smelly is safe. Former American Christian Academy quarterback, head coach, played at South Carolina, came back and played baseball at Alabama, and was lost out in the Gulf of Mexico yesterday on a kayak. They found him yesterday evening. Thank the good Lord for that. We'll be back with the Auburn Report. Brett Pritchard next.
Life doesn't wait for when your finances are in perfect order. It just happens. But no matter what surprises come your way, Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. They offer an easy application process and fast decisions so you can stay focused on feeling good about whatever life brings your way. Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Visit alabamacu.com to learn more. Some rules and restrictions apply. See if you're eligible for membership, then join today and feel good about your money. If you haven't already, you've got to try Tuscaloosa's unique breakfast, brunch, and lunch concept. Brick and Spoon, downtown Tuscaloosa, Timerson Square. It's fresh food with a Cajun flair featuring a full bar with build-your-own Bloody Marys and mimosas. Open daily, 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. Available for after
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit PattersonComerLawFirm.com.
No representations made that the legal services provided by Patterson Comer is greater than any other legal services performed by any other lawyer.
Tuscaloosa's Old Colony Golf Course is an 18-hole championship layout designed by 1976 U.S. Open champion Jerry Pate. Director of Golf John Gray and fitting specialist Bob Montgomery are PGA certified. Mike Shivitz is the head professional and director of the Tuscaloosa Junior Golf Program. Call today to secure a tee time at the Tuscaloosa Championship Golf Course. Everyone can play. 205-562-3201. Old Colony is operated by Para.
Covering University of Alabama sports, as well as the national and local scene as well. The Gary Harris Show, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 10:33. Man, we are moving right along this morning. What a jam-packed show. And we're going to keep it going right now with the latest on the Auburn Tigers with my pal Brett Pritchard from the Auburn Blitz. That joins us on Fridays for the Auburn Report. Good morning, Brett. How are you?
I'm good, Gary. How are you, buddy?
Doing well. Good to have you on. Let's start with basketball because March Madness is winding down, and there were many people that thought that it would be Auburn that was going to be in this position to play for an opportunity to go to the Final Four. Instead, it's Alabama. So I guess from an Auburn perspective, that's kind of a double whammy. Auburn gets knocked out in the first round, and Alabama's still playing. But let's focus on the Tigers and what went wrong in that first-round game against Yale.
I mean, where do you want to start? I mean,
Baker Mazzara still can't get over that one, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think we've heard 150 different analysis by now
from different people on that. And, you know, here's my take, and this was my take when I saw it happen. Just don't put yourself in a position where you leave your fate in the hands of an official. And, you know, let's be honest. Chad Baker-Mazara is, you know, he's an intense player. He's very emotional, and you know, he's done this throughout the year. And, you know, that's part of some players' games. You know, you go back and watch Rasheed Wallace when he was at North Carolina, and I can list numerous players. I mean, even to the point where, you know, it's incorporated into what they do.
Hey, we got one right now in the NBA named Draymond Green.
True. And you know, and again, you pick and choose your battles, and you know, he chose that battle, and he allowed his emotions to get to him, and he got ejected. So, you know, I think you have to accept it for what it is. And, you know, Auburn had plenty of chances in that game. This wasn't about just Baker-Mazara. I mean, yeah, it was tough to lose one of your better players that early. But then you recover. You're deep. I mean, you've been playing 10, 11 guys all year. And so you're playing Yale. You're a 4 seed. You know, suck it up and figure out how to get it done. And Auburn didn't. I had double-digit leads twice in the second half, one with, I think, under 7 minutes to go. And, you know, so they had their chances. They let it get away from them, turning the basketball over, not doing the things that they need to do that got them to that point. So, and had many opportunities at the end. You have to make your free throws, Gary. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Auburn missed 5 right there at the end of the game, and, you know, it was a 2-point game. So, you know, Auburn, you can make excuses, but I choose not to do that. You got beat. So you move on, and it was disappointing. There's no other way to spin it. This team had high expectations coming off a SEC tournament championship. And you know, again, now it's looking at where you're going to go with this team. And this is what every coach deals with as soon as their last game is played. You know, what is my roster going to look like? And, you know, Katie Johnson already going in the portal. I kind of figured that would be the case. But, you know, this team has an opportunity to return a lot of good players, and namely Janai Broome. I mean, it's not a given that he's going to leave. And, you know, I think they're seriously discussing ways to keep him at Auburn. And if they keep him, that's a major keep for this team. And then, of course, I do think Chad Baker-Mazara will be back. Chaney Johnson, Denver Jones, who I thought really improved, started playing like the player we thought we'd see at the beginning. And then you add, you know, Ja'Kai Howard and Tahad Pettiford into this mix, and, you know, Trey Donaldson stays. This team has the nucleus to be just as good, if not better, next year. So, look, you got to flip the page, but you got to figure out why you keep exiting early in March. I think that's nobody's complaining. I've said this every day on our show this week. I'm not complaining, but nobody's beyond criticism and nobody's beyond evaluation. The only way you get better in life, Gary, is in your business, it's in sports, whatever it is. If you're afraid to look at the things that are going to help you get over the hump, then you'll never get over the hump. So I think Coach Pearl knows that better than anybody. So they've got to look at things that maybe aren't working out this time of year for them and try to correct them.
Well, it's an example, and I, you know, said this all week, and I said it, you know, I've really said it for several years now. Basketball, the NCAA tournament is a standalone event, and it's a unique event. And, you know, we look at teams, well, this team, you know, like last year, Alabama, number 1 overall seed. They won the regular season championship. They won the SEC tournament championship. And they got to the round of 16, but they got knocked out. And it, you know, it didn't undo what they had done during the regular season, but it, you know, left you wanting more. And you look at a team like NC State, you know, Kevin Keating's about to get fired. You know, they win 5 games in 5 days in the ACC tournament. They get in the NCAA tournament, they're still playing. And then there's Auburn, who's a team that a lot of people picked to go to the Final Four. This tournament, and I think Coach Pearl said this, you know, it's, and Cal said it too. It's, you know, it's a barometer, whether you like it or not. Most of the time your season, if you're a good team, is going to be remembered by what you did in this event. And I think Auburn's experiencing that a little bit.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You know, I think when you take a seat and you reflect on on what you've accomplished this year, you accomplished a lot. You know, you won 27 games. You won an SEC tournament. You finished second. You were one game away from winning the regular season out, you know, and maybe our share of the regular season. And so, you know, Auburn's won 4 in the last, 4 SEC titles, tournament and regular season over the last several years. But you're right. You are. I remember that Kentucky team that was undefeated and lost in the semifinals to Wisconsin that year. It's probably one of the best teams Kentucky's ever had, but they didn't hang a banner that year. And there's a lot of Kentucky teams that have hung banners that team gets lost, and it didn't matter, you know, what their record was and that they were undefeated. They lost in the Final Four. So it's crazy how teams are. The barometer is set for, you know, how we judge and how we remember these teams. But you're right. Ultimately, it's what you do. And, you know, and I know every run in March is created different. I mean, some runs are tougher than others. It depends on your draw. It depends on your seed. And, some people's paths to the Sweet 16 are easier than others. And then some people underachieve like Auburn did. And some people maybe overachieve like you've seen Clemson do. Yeah. And so, it's just the ebbs and flow of the tournament. I think, Gary, what you find out is in March, you better be ready to play every time you go on the court. You better be playing your best game, because in this tournament, it could be your last if you don't. Yeah,
it really is a brand new season every year. All right, let's get to baseball. Auburn is off to a really slow start. Lost last night at A&M to go to 1-6 in the league, but this conference is a gauntlet. And you know, when you open at Vanderbilt and then you host Arkansas and then you go to A&M. I mean, everybody's in the league is going to play a tough schedule, but that's a 3-series juggernaut right there to start the season.
It is, and again, not to make excuses. Auburn was number 12 a couple of weeks ago in the country, and you got to find ways to win. You're going to be playing tough opponents every weekend in this league. And look, Auburn lost 2 one-run games to Arkansas, and they won the Sunday game 8-6. They lost a game they had a lead against Vanderbilt on the Sunday game in the 7th inning, and Vanderbilt was able to come back and beat them by 2. Look, it is what it is. I mean, you can sit here and cry about it and say your opponents are just, man, this is a tough schedule and all this kind of stuff, or you can line up and play. And Auburn had its chances again last night. They had tied the game, and then they come back, and I think they walked 2 or 3, and you can't walk players. You can't walk batters in this league. And they're going to make you pay. And, I go back to the Arkansas series. Auburn lost that 1-0 game on Friday, but had bases loaded once with 1 out, had second, third with 1 out once. And, at some point in time, you got to be able to come through with a key hit to kind of get you over the hump. So that's just the very small differences in this league, Gary, in a game, winning a game and losing a game. A timely hit, an error at the wrong time, or a key strikeout, something like that can determine whether you win a series or not. That's how close all these teams are in this league. Now, I'm going to see a lot of blowouts. You'll get a blowout here and there, but for the most part, you're going to have a lot of 8-7 games, 5-4 games. And, if you can make the play, the one extra play that your opponent doesn't make, then you can win. So, Auburn, again, will have an opportunity in front of them today. And again, they've been getting knocked around a little bit in SEC play. The pitching is kind of wilted a little bit, but we knew that was a possibility with a couple of new weekend starters and, Joseph Gonzalez coming back off of an injury last year. But I think Coach Thompson, if he were on here with you, Gary, would say exactly what I'm saying. You got to find a way to start winning close games. It was, last year Auburn finished 12-3 in their last 15 games in SEC play, and it was because they found ways to win close games. The year before, Coach Thompson talked about Auburn losing a bunch of those close games. So hopefully they can get it turned around. But every time you lose a game, when you're 1-6 in the league, you're just digging yourself a bigger and bigger hole to try to climb out of. And nobody feels sorry for you in this league. Nobody feels sorry for any team. So gotta get a win today to even the series, and then give yourself a chance to win it on Sunday or on Saturday. So you just got to take them one at a time. You can't win them all and can't win a whole series in one day. But the goal is to get one on the road and win your series at home. And so far, Auburn hadn't been able to do either.
Softball with a big series at home beginning today at 5 against Tennessee. But, of course, the big news at Auburn softball is Mickey Dean announcing that he is retiring from coaching at the end of the season. And he is going to stay on the staff there as, I think, an assistant or an advisor to the athletics director, and will allow him to continue to, work toward his getting vested in the retirement system and also, have family for health insurance and all those things. So this sounds like it's a deal where he just decided, and I don't know if it's a health issue there or what's going on, but that's what I'm going to ask you. What ended this decision with Mickey Dean?
I don't really know from his standpoint why, but I kind of have some speculation, and we talked about it this week. We've made several comparisons to Mark Richt at Georgia, and whoever coaches that had good records, but what did they ever win? What did they ever put in the trophy case? And at some point in time, and we had a major discussion on our show a couple of days ago about how every sport in this league is so competitive, and and the expectations to win in all sports, not just football anymore, or maybe even basketball, but your softball program, your gymnastics, everything you expect to be at the top. And Auburn just has not been getting it done in postseason play in softball either. Mickey Dean's had several good years over the last 6 years, but for the most part, early exits in the NCAA tournament, and just having players leave, and just a culmination of not being able to ever figure out offense in this league has hurt him. And I'm not sure that there was a conversation of between him and Cohen that maybe Auburn wanted to move in another direction, and that's kind of what we speculated there. So I think Auburn will, get to the grind, pretty soon, and looking for that next head coach, because once you have a coach come in and take your program to the top like Clint Myers did, well, it sets the bar. Once you do it, Gary, you showed everybody that you can do it, and that your program can achieve the highest level of success. So really, you don't ever lower your expectations from that. So anybody that comes in behind a coach that's able to do that, if they can't reach that same pinnacle, then they're always going to be judged by that. They're always going to be put in a pressure cooker, trying to make sure they meet those expectations. And I think every program has that. You don't want to lower your expectations ever. So again, Mickey Dean's been a solid coach, but hasn't really ever been able to get over the hump here at Auburn. So Auburn will move in another direction, and hopefully they'll be able to land that next coach and will be able to take Auburn back to the top of this conference.
Great segment as always, Brett. And I know you got the Auburn Blitz coming up, and we didn't have time to really get into football, and I don't really know right now with spring training for all these schools, how much there is to really discuss. But what do you got on tap for the Auburn Blitz?
A lot more of the same. The discussion of, we'll talk more March Madness today, and we'll talk a little about football, a few little things that we can add that we can talk about next week. But, A-Day coming up April 6th, so we'll have more to talk about next week.
Thank you, Brett.
All right, Gary, thank you.
All right, 10:48. Real quickly, prom season. Get by if you're a guy out there and you want to look your best for the prom. T-Town Menswear, T-Town Gallery, and University Mall. They can certainly hook you up. All right, we'll be back with our final segment. All right, Krispy Kreme donuts for a year and T-shirt giveaway coming up next. Keep it dialed in right here to the Gary Harris Show. Since 2011, Billy's Sports Grill, located on Main Avenue in historic downtown Northport, has been serving their legendary signature chicken sandwich, award-winning wings, and handcrafted cocktails. Billy's is also the spot to watch all your favorite sporting events with big screen, high-definition televisions, both dining rooms, at the bar, and outside.
Find a store or switch Suavemente at TotalByVerizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Los Tarascos has been serving Mexican favorites like burritos, fajitas, and quesadillas since 1999. Their new location is at 4100 Owen Parkway in Northport. And of course, you can find Los Tarascos in Tuscaloosa at 110 Skyland Boulevard. The bar areas feature big screen television so you can enjoy your favorite sporting events. Los Tarascos features daily happy hour specials. And for the best Mexican cuisine in West Alabama, remember, the name is Los Tarascos with locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A big warm up today with a sunny sky. Tuscaloosa's high 73. Bear tonight, the low 57. For the weekend, the warming trend continues. Mostly sunny tomorrow and Sunday. The high tomorrow 78 for Sunday afternoon. The high 81. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 58 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Follow Tide 100.9 on Facebook today to watch our live shows, read the great articles, and interact with Bama fans today.
You know I'm a dreamer. All right, 10:51, we're winding it down, but we're not going to wind it down yet. As we get back here on the TGIF edition, the Alabama men's basketball team playing tomorrow evening for a spot in the Final Four against the Clemson Tigers. And we are about to start our Krispy Kreme donuts and T-shirt giveaway. And I had these shirts, like I said, I picked them up about 3 weeks ago, but I've been waiting for the right time to do it. But these are beautiful Krispy Kreme donuts T-shirts, 100% heavy cotton. So they're well done with the big Krispy Kreme logo on the front, Krispy Kreme Donuts Alabama. And then we've got a dozen donuts a month for a year. These are cards. What they will do, if you win it and you go by Krispy Kreme and it's April, which it's about to be, they'll punch April. And there's a punch card. So then you go back in May and 12 months are on there. So you get a dozen donuts a month for a year. And we don't have time to run a contest or anything like that, but we are going to have it tied into Bama basketball trivia without having to answer a question. It's very simply, I'll give you the answer, and then you be the caller that we're looking for. All right, the number on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline is 205-342-9904. Jot that down, 205-342-9904. If you are the caller, the number that I give, then Justin is going to take down your name and your number, your shirt size, and then I'll get in touch with you and make arrangements for you to pick up your shirt and your punch card for a dozen donuts a month for a year. All right, here's what we're going to do. Alabama last night, or this season, made it to the Sweet 16 for the 11th time. For the 11th time. Now, we're trying to get the Final Four for the first time, but 11 Sweet 16 appearances in Alabama basketball history, men's basketball history. And talking about sweet, what's sweeter than a Krispy Kreme donut? So we'll take the 11th caller right now at 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. Be the 11th caller. Justin is just going to rattle them down. 1 call, 2 call, 3 call, 4 call, 5 call, 6 call, 7 call. And when you're the 11th caller, you are going to win a dozen donuts a month for a year and a Krispy Kreme 100% heavy cotton T-shirt, Krispy Kreme Donuts, Alabama. All right, the phones are ringing now. He'll take the 11th caller at 205-342-9904. This is a great giveaway, and we're going to do it every Friday now until we're out, which is we got 5 of the cards, and I think we got more T-shirts than that, so we may give away some T-shirts continually. But all right, while Justin's doing that, I've got a few minutes here to wrap up the show. As soon as he gets the 11th caller, he'll go ahead and punch through. They're ringing off the hook right now. So once he gets his 11th caller, he'll lock down the phone lines. All right, and then I'll give the winner. And like I said, I'll get in touch with you on how to pick up your shirt and your card. But busy weekend ahead, obviously, for Alabama sports. Focus is on the basketball team playing in the Elite Eight tomorrow night in Los Angeles, but also, and I'm happy that baseball and softball both have Thursday, Friday, Saturday series this weekend. So no baseball or softball or basketball, since basketball plays tomorrow, Sunday for Easter. Everybody will be open. Again, I want to mention before I close out the show, I've known the Smelly family for a long time, since I've been in Tuscaloosa, and just prayers are answered. Chris Smelly, Sylacauga head football coach, was found okay in the Gulf of Mexico
on his kayak. He was a number of miles away from shore. I'm sure he got pulled out, and I'll try to read some more details today. But Chris Smelly is safe, played quarterback at South Carolina, transferred back to play baseball at Alabama. His brother Brad was an outstanding football player at Alabama as well. Bart and Sissy, his parents, his wife Josie, and his father-in-law and mother-in-law, the Baranos, so happy for that entire family. All right, we are locking down the phones. Okay, Justin has got the 11th caller, so we're going to lock him down real quick for our Krispy Kreme dozen donuts a month for a year and T-shirt giveaway. Who was the 11th caller, Justin?
Our 11th caller was Mr. Bert Sims.
All right, Bert, congratulations to you. And Justin's going to get me your number, and I'm going to be in touch with you. If not today, certainly by the first of next week, and we'll make arrangements for you to pick up your card and your T-shirt. So thanks to Krispy Kreme, Evan Smith, and the folks over there. Sweet treat for you for a year. Picking up those donuts every month. All right, that's going to close it out for the show. Good show this morning, and this hour has been brought to you by Patterson Comer, attorneys at law. Coming up next, we're going to have T-Town Sports Daily with Wyatt and Justin from 11 until noon, and then the Miller's Edge from noon until 2, and then Fowler will take you home with the game from 2 until 6. We'll crank it back up on Monday and at 9 a.m. with the Gary Harris Show. And when we talk Monday, we'll know if Alabama's in the Final Four or not. So can't wait for that. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's going to be beautiful weather. Happy Easter, everyone. And I'll talk to you again on Monday. And catch me on the Sports Tonight on WVUA 23 for all your local sports coverage here in Tuscaloosa. Have a great weekend, everybody.